few days ago, it was requested that I do a bullet journal header / banner tutorial. I'm not an expert at banners, but I have learned a few simple ones, so I thought I'd show you quickly how to do them in case some of you were wondering. All you'll need for today or for these banners is your bullet journal, a black pen. I'm using Faber-Castell's black pen in small, the Pitt Artist pen, and if you cannot draw straight lines, then a ruler, because I don't know about you, but if I try and draw straight lines without a ruler, things go crazy really quickly. So with that being said, I'm just gonna get started with banner number 1. I'll start off with one at the top here. And I'm just gonna start with a straight line, and then I follow up with another line parallel to it. Quickly connect those. Now the next part, the ends of the banners, I think the part that intimidates most people, but trust me, it's not that hard once you get the hang of it. The most important tip that you need to keep in mind is that the ends of your banner have to be the same width as your rectangle. So my rectangle is 4 dots wide, so I'm going to make sure the ends of my banner are also 4 dots wide. How I like to do it is I bring my ruler 1 set of dots below my rectangle. I come in 1 dot and obviously go down 1 dot, and that's where I'm going to start my line. That's going to go outwards like this. Gonna draw it quickly here. It doesn't really matter how long you have it, as long as you kind of stay consistent with it. Again, end of the rectangle, 1 dot in, I go down, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm gonna connect this dot with this dot. And now it's time to do the top end of the banner, which again, like I said, it has to be the same width as my rectangle. So this is 4 dots, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna draw the top part so that this line and this line match up. And now it's just time for the finishing touches. I usually like to just do a simple triangle here at the ends. And last but not least, we're gonna connect this rectangle, the end of the original rectangle you made, with the bottom left point of the flap. So it's just a line right here that you're gonna create. And you can leave it at that, or you can take it a step further and color in those triangles that you just made, those 2 mini triangles, because technically they're the back of the ribbon. So if you really want to make it look, you know, next level, then you can add a color there, or you can even color in black or do little lines. Today I think I'm going to fill it in with one of my Tombos, and I'm going to use my Tombow in the color 443. If you're wondering how to make the flaps, instead of like the ends coming out at the bottom of the rectangle, if you want them to be at the top, then all you would have to do is, instead of like when I started that step of creating my lines 1 dot below my rectangle, you would just basically do the same steps, but you would do it 1 dot above your rectangle. So let me demonstrate that quickly right now. We go 1 dot in and up and draw that line. We go 1 dot in and up and go outwards left. Another banner I really like to do also starts off with a rectangle, and essentially all you are doing is creating kind of like a shadow of another rectangle behind it. For this, I don't go completely 1 set of dots above my rectangle, I just go about halfway, and I don't start completely at the end. I go a little bit in as well. Hopefully this makes sense once I start doing it, but I think I'm happy with that positioning, and I'm just gonna draw my line and extend it just outside my original rectangle. And then we do the other side right here, and again, we're gonna bring it down, but not completely to the end or to the same length of my original rectangle, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna connect this dot and this dot, and bada boom bada bing, you've got like this shadowy thing going on here. And usually what I'll do is I'll fill in this back rectangle with some diagonal lines. Another banner I like to do is basically the same as this one up here, but it's diagonal, and there's not just 1 main rectangle, there's 2. So I'm going to show you how I do that as well. So as you can see, I made my first diagonal rectangle here, and the way I did it was I chose a dot, I made a little point, and instead of going straight across and making my dot right here, which is what you would expect when making a normal rectangle, I instead brought it 1 dot up. And then I connect those two lines. Obviously, once you get the hang of this, you don't need to do the dots, but when you're starting out, I find that to be a little helpful. Then I join the two rectangles together by starting at the top left of the bottom rectangle and just drawing a diagonal line to meet the top rectangle, and then going to the bottom right of the top rectangle and drawing a diagonal line to connect it with the bottom rectangle. As you can see, I used a pencil to kind of etch out the angle of the ends of my ribbon because it's a little trickier than when doing these because you're working on an angle, so you kind of have to eyeball it a bit. Once you have those lines, you can connect here and here. Just make your little triangles. And again, you're going to connect this dot with this dot, and this dot with this dot. Now for this banner, I'm going to use my Tombow in the color 725 to color in all of the shadowing areas of this banner, which are these little triangles at the end and the little diagonal that we created in the middle. And there you have that. Again, you can choose to do what I did and fill that in with a color, or color it in completely black, or do some fun line work, whatever you want to do. These are completely customizable. Another banner I really like to do starts off with a square, or what looks like it will be a square or a rectangle, but instead will become, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this final line come out into like a triangle formation. So let me just demonstrate that. I'm going to bring it down about 3 dots here. I'm just going to put my dot in the middle so I know what's going on and where to connect my diagonal lines. And you could leave it just like that, but something that a lot of people do, and I like doing as well, is adding like a little pole on either end so it looks like the banner is being hung up. If you want to go really super simple, you can just draw a rectangle and then do little dots by each corner to kind of look like nails. And I even will sometimes add some green. Go really lightly, barely adding any pressure. You could even do the same thing, but instead of the dots, you can make little stitches so it looks like you almost sewed your banner onto your page. Another banner I really like doing starts off with just drawing a simple line. Now, technically this isn't really like a banner, but it is like a header or something you can use for a title. But for this, you do need to know exactly what you're going to say in here. So I'm gonna use the word banner, and banner is a 6-letter word, so I'm gonna add one more to it, and that's obviously 7. And then I'm gonna draw 7 vertical lines in different lengths. I'm going to add a little ball tip or end to each of the lines. And then obviously you've got like 6 spaces here, so each space is for 1 letter of the word that you're gonna write. On this page I'm gonna continue doing some more, not necessarily banners, but just like things you can use for titles or headers and that sort of thing. A common one I see on the internet is just doing a little curved line or 2 curved lines, and that leaves a space here for you to write whatever you want. A lot of people will use this for dates or something like that. And I like to do like these little leaves, that's what I call them, and I just do like little infinity things or the number 8s. You can also do arrows. Sometimes I also like to make sticky notes, and the way I do that is by making a square, but instead of like connecting this bottom right corner here, you make a diagonal line connecting them. And then from that diagonal, make a triangle. Sometimes if I'm really feeling like being lazy, I'll just make 2 lines at the top and 2 lines at the bottom. And write whatever I need to in the middle. You can do the same thing with stitches instead of 2 lines, or even dots or circles. Just use the dots as your guide. Another thing you can do is make like a text box or a speech bubble, and essentially all you need to do is create a rectangle or a square, whatever you want, and instead of connecting it completely at the end here, you leave like a little gap so that you can make your little tip. To create the little end, I'm just gonna start off by creating a dot as a reference, and this dot I placed 1 dot down and half a dot to the left of the end of this line right here. And then I'm just gonna simply connect this dot with both ends. Ta-da, pretty simple. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that. If you wanna see more header, banner, divider tutorials, then be sure to give this video a big thumbs up so I know you guys are interested in that. I wanted to keep this video simple to help out any of you who are new to bullet journaling, and just to show you that even the more complex looking banners, once you break them down into simple steps, are really not that difficult to draw, and all of these are pretty customizable as well. Leave any requests that you have in the comment section below. Also reach out to me on social media with pictures of any banners that you end up doing from this tutorial, or any banners you'd like to see me show you how to do in future videos, and I will see you all soon with a new video. Bye everyone!